This is going to be a step-by-step guide on how to run your first blast. How fucking exciting, man. It's going to be testosterone only. Testosterone has changed my fucking life. It is king, and I can't express that enough. So, you are a rookie. Now, this is how we're going to show you how to do your first fucking blast. Let's fucking get into it, baby. So, our first cycle is going to be testosterone and testosterone only. Why is that? So it's going to be the safest and it's the most highly researched compound. It is king. It's been around forever. And every other compound, whether it's Deca, Masteron, everything is derived from testosterone. So we need to see how you actually react to testosterone before we stack anything else onto your blast. So another reason why is we already produce it naturally. So we want to see how you react to it, getting it exogenously. So we want to gauge how we react before adding anything else, like I said before. And it's actually the easiest to control when it comes to side effects. So if you run anything else besides this as your first blast, it's going to be really hard to see where the side effects you get come from if you're not just only running tests, because so many other compounds can give you so many other sides. So it's best to just start with test to see how you react. I cannot express that enough. So we are going to move over here and we're going to be talking about which test and the quantity you should be running at your first cycle. So we have test E, so that's testananthe, or test C, test cypionate. So these are two different esters. Enanthe is going to be a little bit shorter of an ester than cypionate. You're going to want to pin that a couple days a week. And then cypionate you can pin once a week. But I will say a lot of these TRT clinics are going to tell you, oh, just pin cypionate one time a week. I've learned not to do that. That's fucking stupid. What that's going to do is it's going to actually have your hormones kind of all over the place. And when your hormones are all over the place, guess what happens? We get fucking side effects. So fuck that shit. We're going to pin either of these a couple times a week. So the easiest way to do it is split it into at least 2 injections. So if you're a beginner, we're going to start you off here at 250 because you've never done anything before. So we want to start you off at 250 mgs per week. We're going to split that into at least 2 injections. So, for example, you start on Sunday, we're going to pin 125 mgs, and then we'll pin again on Wednesday at 125 mgs. Now, if you choose to do an extra day, now just divide 250 by 3. I like to do 3 pins a week. I feel like my hormones are better that way. So next is we're going to go into cycle length. A lot of people will go past this or they'll do too little. I think the perfect place to start out at is 12 weeks. You can run shorter if you want, but 12 weeks, I think you will see the best gains possible and the most benefits. And that's what we're fucking here for, right? We want to get fucking jacked. You fucking feel me? So 12 weeks. And now this is important. Where to inject. Now there's a couple places you can inject, but as a beginner, your easiest position where you want to pin is your glutes. It's the most risk-free. There's not very many veins in it. There's only one central nerve that actually is in there, and that's like right in the center of your ass cheek. And you shouldn't be pinning there anyway, so super easy. So we're going to do glutes. Now, your delts are actually a good place to pin as well, but since we're a beginner, we're going to stick with the glutes. And as you run more cycles, you can start cycling over to the delts. And we want to rotate. So you don't want to pin in the exact same place. So what you want to do is, let's say on Sunday, you pin your right ass cheek, right, on the outer glute. And then on Wednesday, you're going to pin the left ass cheek. So we want to rotate, and then we want to rotate the different spots on the outer glute. So, and that's to prevent any scar tissue because if you keep pinning in the same place, you're going to create scar tissue, and that's not going to feel very nice when you pin that. So moving on, we're going to do timeline here. So weeks 1 through 12, when you pick your test, either test E or test C, like we said, we're going to be pinning 250 milligrams. And as you get more in depth, we're going to be titrating up that cycle all the way up to 500 mgs. You don't need anything more than that. Otherwise, it's going to be way too much and you're going to cause a bunch of side effects. So that's how we're going to do the blast for 12 weeks. And then weeks 13 through 14 is going to be the cycle off. That's when we're going to actually let the test clear our system. So we want to recycle our body. We're going to start getting it ready to PCT off of it, which brings me to weeks 15 and 18. Very key here. Post-cycle therapy. You need to do this so you can come off the testosterone, so you don't get sides, you don't crash, you don't have any side effects that are going to suck, because crashing your test is really going to fucking suck and you're not going to like how you feel. So we need to make sure that this PCT is dialed in. We need to make sure that we have all of our AIs and supplements on hand and our PCT on hand, so that way we're not rushing to try to get off of the testosterone. That's just a terrible idea. So we want to make sure we have our PCT in place already. We have it on hand. So then this brings me to cycle support. So we're going to have our AI, our Arimidex. We're going to do 0.25 mgs, and we need to take that as needed for estrogen. Now, when I say take that as needed, we're going to be doing our bloods. We'll get into that a little bit later. But we need to be checking our blood work to see where our estrogen levels are. If our estrogen is a little high, we're going to want to take that Arimidex. We don't want to be sprouting bitch tits over here, because that's terrible and nobody wants that. I say bitch tits, but we call it gyno. The only way to get rid of gyno is surgery. So you really want to make sure that you are controlling your estrogen. And then as we get further in and do other cycles, there are other compounds that can actually mitigate estrogen, such as Primo and Mastron. These are all great estrogen controllers. But like I said, this is only for testosterone right now. That's what we're doing. Next, we need our supplements. These are non-negotiable, in my opinion. You should always have your supplements. We want to take care of our fucking body, because if we're going to run more cycles, we want to make sure that our body's in check and nothing is fucked up. So fish oil, number one, helps the joints, helps the skin. You need that. And then we're going to need NAC, and then we're going to need TUDCA. These are both for liver health. If you fuck up your liver, you are fucking cooked. I promise you this. You need this, no matter if you're just running a test cycle only, or if you start adding in orals like Anavar or Winstrol. These are all hard on your liver. Any oral is hard on your liver. So we need to have NAC and TUDCA, no matter what, non-negotiable. Vitamin D3 and magnesium. Vitamin D3 is actually going to go ahead and support your testosterone. And obviously we don't get enough sun, so we definitely need vitamin D3. Magnesium also is going to help with support as well with the testosterone. And it's actually going to help you sleep too, which is great. And recovery is key. Sleep, recovery, you need it when you're doing cycles. And then baby aspirin is a great blood pressure medication. You can get some other blood pressure medication as well. But baby aspirin is a great way to actually dial in your blood pressure and bring it down. The reason why I bring up blood pressure is because when you are taking exogenous testosterone, your blood can get thicker. So we don't want high blood pressure. It's a silent fucking killer. And if you do notice that your blood pressure is going up, which is why I have you purchasing a blood pressure monitor, we're going to actually go ahead and donate blood. It's giving yourself a fucking oil change. It's just how you do for your car. Cycle it out, clean it up. That's what we want to do. So make sure that we have all of these on hand, because if you don't, you're a fucking idiot and you're doing it wrong. And that's not the fucking point of this. We want to make sure that we are doing this the right fucking way. Moving on. What can you expect? It's really important that we actually set good expectations when we're running a cycle especially a testosterone cycle, because you're not going to look like Captain fucking America, man. Like, if you look like shit already, running testosterone is not going to help you not look like shit. So, the good expectations we can expect: increase in strength, increase in size, and recovery. These are awesome. This is why we're taking the testosterone in the first place, because we want to get fucking jacked. We want to get strong. We want better recovery. That's another key aspect of this. Recovery is going to be faster. So now you can train harder and a little bit more often. Recovery is key when we're trying to build muscle. So these are great expectations to have. And we're also going to have better mood, and you're confident as fuck. Like, I'm not kidding. You feel like, if you felt like you were depressed, I promise you, you're like almost never going to feel depressed. And your confidence through the roof. You walk in, alpha male type shit. Like, you're going to command respect when you walk into a room. The confidence in it is unmatched. But with the good, there can always be some bad. So these are the sides that can happen when we are taking testosterone. You can get acne. So if you're prone to acne, you already kind of have bad acne, this can happen. It can help. It can increase more acne on you. So if you have anything to help take care of that, take it. Make sure you have it on hand. We can have some water retention. This can happen. It almost happens to everyone. It only happens for like the first week or so, and then it starts to subside, which is good. So you'll see a little bit of increase on the scale. Nothing to be worried about. Obviously, our estrogen, because testosterone aromatizes into estrogen, which can cause issues, right? Bitch tits, like I said, you can get a little bit of emotional. So these are things to monitor. Make sure you are journaling this down. If you ever feel anything like this, you check if your nipples feel puffy around that area, if they're a little bit sensitive. These are signs of estrogen issues, which means this is why we have our eyes on hand. We do not want this to happen. The last thing you want to do is get that gyno, because like I said before, you are going to need to get surgery. Fuck that shit. And obviously, because we're taking exogenous testosterone, we're going to have natural test suppression. So what this means is, because you are taking it exogenously, it is shutting down your natural body's way of producing testosterone. So that is another side effect that happens. But when we PCT off, that's how we get it restarted. So these are the expectations. You got to be realistic. Now, this is the most important part. Blood work. Do not run a cycle if you are not prepared for the costs of running blood work. If you do not do blood work, you are a fucking idiot. I promise you, it is not a good idea. You need to know what is going on with your body. Now, when we get blood work, I mean doing blood work pre, mid, and post cycle. So expect to get your blood drawn 3 times, because this is so important. Your health is important. Gains are great. Health, way more important. You ain't gaining any muscles if you're 6 feet under. So the blood work that we need to get pre-cycle, we're going to get our testosterone checked, our E2, which is our estrogen, estradiol, our LH and FSH, which are our sex hormones, and our CBC. That is going to be the best way to describe it is seeing how your blood is flowing. So our hematocrit, very important. That is letting us know how thick the blood is. Get our lipid panel, very, very important as well. And then we want to get our CBC panel. This is also going to be checking the liver and the kidney health. I cannot stress this enough. You need to be taking care of it. If you shot your kidneys or your liver, you are fucked. You do not want to be on like fucking dialysis, or you need a fucking liver transplant. I'm not trying to scare you guys, but these are things that you need to be worried about. This is why I urge you to always get your fucking blood work. It is so important. Then mid-cycle, we want to see how we're responding. This is when your bloods are going to look fucking crazy. Like, the numbers are going to be kind of all over the place, but you need to expect that because we are mid-cycle. And the reason why we do this is need to make sure that everything is in check. Nothing is too crazy. Nothing is off the charts or we need to worry about. Post PCT blood work necessary. We need to see how you recovered after running a cycle. This is fucking key because if we don't know how we see how we recover, then we don't know if we can actually run another blast again. And what's the fun in that? We want to get all the fucking gains in the world. So we got to make sure that you are recovered and you did well off of this. Which brings me to my next point. PCT, super fucking important, guys. If you don't PCT, you're going to fuck your shit up. Nobody wants to be fucked up. I'm telling you, this is super important. So the timing of when you start your PCT is going to depend on the ester used. Remember how I mentioned there's two different kinds? There's actually three kinds of testosterone we can use, but we're using two right now. So an anthate and then cypionate. Cypionate's going to be a little bit longer of an ester, and anthate's going to be a little bit shorter. So we want to start this 14 to 21 days after the final injection of testosterone. And now we have two options we can use as our PCT. We have Clomid and then we have Novadex. So Clomid, a little bit stronger. So we want to actually go ahead and start this weeks 1 through 2 is going to be our loading phase. So this is a basic example. When you're running a cycle, you should have a coach. This varies by person to person. So you need to make sure that you have this already dialed in. So this is just an example. Our loading phase is going to be 50 mgs a day for the weeks 1 through 2. And then weeks 3 through 4 is going to be the tapering phase. We're going to bring it down to 25 mgs a day. Like I said, this is just an example. Do not do this because I just said it. I'm giving you an example. Everyone is different. Next, we can use our option 2, Novadex. Weeks 1 through 2 is the loading phase again. We're going to do 40 mgs a day in this example. And then the tapering phase in weeks 3 and 4 is going to be 20 mgs a day. Like I said, your PCT is super important. You need to make sure that you do this right, or you are going to mess up your hormones. You're going to have crash tests. You're going to have bad estrogen. All your numbers are going to be bad. It's not going to be fucking good for you. I promise you. You're going to be fucking miserable. Listen to me. Next, these are non-negotiables for me. So your diet and your training and recovery must be dialed the fuck in. And by this, steroids are not Band-Aids. They are not going to fix a bad diet. They are not going to fix bad, shitty training. So if you train like a bitch, you're not going to see results. And it's not going to help with your recovery either. If none of this is dialed in, I can promise you, you are going to have shitty fucking results. And what is the point of doing all of this to have shitty results? We're doing this so we can get a better physique. And it just makes more sense to have it all dialed in. It only enhances. It does not do the hard work. So if you're just a lazy fuck, you don't know how to eat right, you don't train hard, and you recover like shit, this is fucking pointless for you. So if you're someone that doesn't have any of this dialed in, you are wasting your time. I can promise you that. So they enhance everything you already do. So shitty routine, like I said, means shitty fucking results. Really good routine, dial the fuck in. I promise you, you're going to get some great fucking results, man. And you're going to be so happy with your results, and you're going to want to get on another fucking blast. Before you do that, though, make sure you're recovered, obviously. So, another thing you need to remember, pin on the same fucking days and the same time. We want to keep everything stabilized. Not stabilized means fluctuating hormones. Guess what that means? Side effects. We're trying to avoid as many side effects as possible. So make sure you are doing this. This is so important. And then we want to make sure that we are keeping track, journaling, whatever you want to do, write it in a journal, write it on Google fucking Sheets. I don't give a fuck. But make sure you're tracking your weight, how much you're lifting throughout the gym, your sex drive, and obviously your blood work. The reason why we track is because we want to see how we are progressing through the cycle. Obviously, we want these things to improve. We want our lifts to get heavier and stronger. We want to make sure that our sex drive is there. I will say, when you first start pinning testosterone, your sex drive is going to be through the roof. It's literally insane. I mean, I woke up with a fucking woody every fucking day. Like, it was the first time. It was like I was in high school. I'm not kidding, man. Like, 18 years old, freaking hard as a rock. You feel me? But please make sure that we are monitoring all of this, because if you are not, then there's no point, and you're just going to get shitty results, and we don't know how everything is affecting you. So none of this is optional for me. You need to be doing all of the stuff on point. And if you need help with any of this, with diet, nutrition, any recovery, hit me the fuck up. Let's get to work. And I promise you, we will get some great fucking results. Appreciate y'all. This is the guide to running your first cycle. I hope you guys learned some shit. I love teaching you guys this shit. Now, let's get fucking big, baby. Let's fucking go.